The Central Bank of Nigeria has issued a revised draft about the Regulatory and Supervisory Guidelines for the Bureau de Change operations in Nigeria for stakeholder comments and/or inputs. Now, the guidelines seek to enhance the regulatory framework for the operations of Bureau de Change as part of ongoing reforms of the Nigerian foreign exchange market. Specifically, it revises the permissible activities, licensing requirements, corporate governance, and anti-money laundering, including combating the financing of terrorism provisions for the BDCs. It also sets out new record-keeping and reporting requirements, among others. To help us unpack this, I'm joined by the President, Bureau de Change Operators, Aminu Gwadabe. Thank you so much for joining us on Business Edge.
Thank you very much for having me, and good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning to you too. Now, first, it was a raid by the EFCC, and now new CBN guidelines. Did you see this coming, and do you welcome the approach as directed by the Nigerian government?
First, to be fair, the EFCC Commission, they have applied both genetic and non-genetic engagement. First, by engaging all the stakeholders coming to tell us these are some of the findings about activities, how we can contribute to proceed of stolen funds, to a lot of malpractices in the system, and they encourage us to go and clean our house and put our house in order. And that refusal to comply with that, they are coming full force to ensure that they put house into order. Part of the thing they are seriously against is trading on the street, and also without proper documentation, recording of their transaction. And it was found that most of the street traders are lacking in these obligations until they are not licensed. So after those engagements and still practices continue, they now use the genetic forces to ensure that they achieve their objective. Yes, it's all part of reforms. It might be counterproductive in terms of effectiveness and success. However, our belief is that it's reform, because at the end of the day, they target the wrong people. You know, the whole purpose of the reform of the Bureau de Change to formalize the informal sector. So our call is to continue to engage, to continue to come up with guidelines that will make sure everybody that wants to partake in the foreign exchange transaction must be a registered license. Because we are talking of the oxygen of the country, so it cannot be allowed in the hands of people that are not licensed or registered. Like I also call, it's all part of the FCC, Central Bank, to continue to engage stakeholders.
Okay, Mr. Aminu Gwadabe, just stay with us for a while. We will quickly go on a short break, and we'll pick it up from the angle where you said that the measures might be counterproductive. Just stay with us. You're watching Business Edge, and we have been taking a look at the new CBN rules as handed down to the Bureau de Change operators in Nigeria. We have been talking to the president of the operators, of the BDC operators, that is Aminu Gwadabe. And earlier on, he talked about the fact that despite the fact that it throws its weight behind these new measures by the Apex Bank, these measures in some areas might be counterproductive. So, Mr. Aminu Gwadabe, let me just bring you on at this point and do a bit of breakdown looking at the guidelines and the areas they cover. We're looking at permissible activities, licensing requirements, corporate governance, issues around anti-money laundering and combating financing of terrorism. Now, also it includes a record keeping and reporting of requirements. So when you look at all these new provisions, which of these excites you and your members, and which would you consider unnecessary and probably counterproductive, as you earlier claimed?
The excitement I have first is releasing the draft before the final order. This is the first time, and I appreciate the central bank of trying to carry the stakeholders along before they make any of their guidelines as a regulation. So it is a draft. It's good to make that clarification. It's not cast on stone, and that for having the thought of saying, okay, stakeholders should put their input, that's a very good excitement. I will appreciate that, because it's the first time that a central bank we issue a guideline, a draft guideline for stakeholders and operators to put their input in our own sector. So we appreciate that magnanimity, and we hope before the final regulation, engagement will continue, recognition will continue. So that's a good excitement. Number two, it also provides opportunities in terms of expansion of the permissible activities, like you have said, and stuff like that. Number three, it is also a credible opportunity. It provides a credible opportunity for capitalization and...
Hello, Mr. Aminu Gwadabe. I think our guest's network just scrambled there. We probably might need to see how we can bring him back online to continue with his response to these issues as regards the new guidelines that was presented by the CBN to the Bureau de Change operators. Now, okay, I understand that it's back online. We lost you for a moment there, Mr. Gwadabe. Can you please just round up on what you were saying earlier?
I said mentioned some of the low-hanging fruit, but also the concern is, it might encourage money laundering. There are a lot of people that, stock somewhere. So a retail trader like Bureau de Change, they are saying its capitalization is 2 billion. So if care is not taking what you are running away, you come and meet it in your front. So that capitalization is a huge concern, from 35 billion to 2 billion. Other jurisdictions like India is about $67,000 capitalization. Like in Kenya is $50,000 capitalization. That's we are talking about 75 million naira. In also Tanzania is $200,000. We are talking about 150 million capitalization. So these are jurisdictions that we have studied, and we found that this is their capitalization. So if we are following global practice, I think we should also work along those levels. And the most worrisome one is the compulsory deposit. For instance, take Money Point. Money Point is a microfinance bank. Their entire capital is 50 million naira capitalization. And then we are retail FX dealers. We don't take customer deposits. If you look at the guidelines, such practices are even not allowed for a FX BDC to collect customers' deposit or do a kind of banking transaction. So forcing the Bureau de Change to keep a huge sum of 200 million as caution deposit in court, I think that will negate even the principle of the global practices.
Okay, you've actually highlighted a couple of unwholesome practices by Bureau de Change operators, but then let's be critical a bit. Before now, the study of the depreciation in the value of the naira had been blamed on speculative activities, holding of the greenback, including round tripping, according to what we know, said to be masterminded by BDC operators. What's your take on this? Why is it that the association or the body had to wait for the Central Bank of Nigeria to come up with policies to counter these activities, knowing fully well that you are the president and there's something that you could have done in terms of having internal mechanisms to deal with these issues?
Well, first, you see, I don't think even you that you are asking this question, you still have the same perception with all the revelation we have been seeing about how speculators, how we have seen financial enablers. In UK, even banks, fintech, lawyers, estate agents have been classified as financial enablers, which means they can aid money laundering. We have seen a lot of malpractices. I can say the Bureau de Change has indicated now from the generalization of criminalization and stigmatization, which has been the perception of the regulators, of even the fiscal authorities and the security agencies. A lot of revelation have, investigation have revealed the BDC are even the better side than some of these corporate organizations that we all admit should believe in. So we are happy that there is a change of perception, there is a change of mind from the regulators, from the security agencies about the earlier wrong perception they have about the Bureau de Change. The BDC change played the third role leg of the market. Even with the conception of I&E window, it's a three-leg market. You have the central bank, you have the commercial banks, and you have the BDC change. So whereby you now exclude the BDC change just on the basis of stigmatization, a sector that is contributing liquidity, a sector that you meant to stem volatility, a sector that you meant to provide the critical retail needs of the market. Somebody traveling, somebody go to a hospital. It's a sector that have the compromise. It's a the compassion. It's a sector that have the convenience. When you are coming from, say, UK now, you come to the airport, you will not see a bank opening for you to exchange your dollar. It's the BDC change that you see. And like I said, over time, we have ensured that we perform that obligation of maintaining liquidity in the market. In 2006, when we have this spiral volatility, the BDC were used as vehicle to control the volatility. In 2009, the BDC were used to control the volatility.
Okay.
In 2006,
But some people would actually, say that they do not feel the impact of the support that the BDCs has or have given in terms of ensuring liquidity in Forex in Nigeria. But then Aminu Gwadabe, President, Bureau de Change Operators, we say thank you so much for giving so much insight to our discussion this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.